play for still?
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And we're going to take a little look at the Champions League knockout phase playoff draw live together, if you don't mind. I don't know what's happened. I've got a delayed lack of voice. So obviously I roared my guts up at the Celtic game. But yesterday my voice was fine, but today I can barely speak. So please bear with me. If you can't hear me, just turn up your device a small little bit. But I am just watching. Obviously, we won't be able to have it up here on screen, so I'm going to try and relate to you guys as best I possibly can. And I know I've probably got something up here. No, all good. So I'll try to relate to you guys as best I can. Stay on for maybe about half an hour. Hopefully, I'll have it done by then, but then I got to run away. So hopefully, we'll know what the Champions League draw is for Aston Villa. And please don't feel catfished if you're coming back to watch this afterwards. I have the best intention of bringing you what the actual draw is. But I do have a small bit of a time limit. I need to be gone out of here by at least about 20 to 12. So hopefully they don't delay it an awful lot. So we have the wonderful Pedro Pinto, the host of the event, is standing there and in between four pots of balls. Oh no, it's six. It's 8 pots of balls. Sorry, they just panned out here. And draw is going to begin anytime soon. I hope they don't have people coming on telling us about their life story in whatever language. But they're focusing in an awful lot on the Paris Saint-Germain delegation at the minute. They're talking very much about the. There's the Man City delegation. Don't know any of those. The Celtic lads behind Man City. No sign of any of the Villa boys there yet. I'm sure we'll see them in a moment. A bit of a recap on the first 8 weeks. 8 game nights so far. Hopefully Villa get. There we go. There's Emmy Martinez up top with Gamal. Yeah, he was front and center. Was Emmy? Good to see. There we go. Aston Villa here scoring. Opening goal. Brilliant. Morgan Rogers' goal was highlighted there. Fucking mad, guys, isn't it? Absolutely bonkers. Villa. You know, myself and Paddy were talking about it last night, 5 years ago. On the scrap heap of mediocrity, less than mediocrity, not even in the Premier League, and being highlighted here with likes of Mbappe and there we go. Oh, there's Adamida's goal. Just showed it there. Onieri's goal, yeah. Christ, Jamal is he's a cracking player. There's JJ. Squares it to Watkins. 3-2. I never know Arden has scored an own goal. Yeah. Martinez goal, yeah. So they're just going through all the goals that were scored on the last day there, where there was so much jeopardy, and they're showing the movement of the teams in real time then on the side. So I suppose they're really just hamming up the new format here. While they're doing that, I am just going to come to some of your comments. John Griffin asks, well, what's the thoughts on Asensio and Felix? Excuse me. I will. We'll get into that maybe afterwards, depending on how quick or slow this draw is done. Look, I think, spoiler alert though, I think that, look, the club are going to bring somebody in. I think we know that the club are going to work on both of those guys, and it's going to be one of the two of them. And Unai Emery absolutely adores both of them. So he knows he's going to be able to work with them, I would imagine, and we'll see where we're going. But I'll talk about it in a moment. Ian Kelly, love the podcast. I'm almost sure you trained me for US company best. I probably did. I'm trying to look in here to see if I can see you on your. Do you know what, Ian? I did. I did train you a couple of years ago. Good to see you. Paul Cox says, I think these Champions League shows are amongst the most boring things ever. Thanks for covering it, which makes it all much better. Well, thank you. I'm going to try and make it as exciting as I can. Now they're just highlighting the teams that are in the draw. So they're starting off, I presume it's alphabetical order. Atlanta, no. Well, Atlanta, Borussia Dortmund. Um, you'll know when Villa come up, I'll have a big cheer. Oh, they're going from 9 down. That's what they're doing here, so we won't see Villa here. Real Madrid, who are you? Not in the top 8. That's who. Jude Bellingham, never heard of him. Bayern Munich, no, never heard of him. Where are they from? Austria? No, never heard of him. Harry Kane, very English sounding name. What's he doing out there? I've never seen him before. AC Milan. Is that like AC Slater? Were they in Saved by the Bell? AC Milan. PSV Eindhoven. PSV. Nah, never heard of you, lads. Never heard of you. Who else have we? Paris, Saint Germany. Again, don't have it. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Mustn't have finished in the top 8. Never heard of him. Benfica. Pavlidis, actually, in fairness, Pavlidis has really kicked on for them. Good to see that because he was good for AZ last year as well. Monaco, did hear a ye. He whelps. Beating us 1-0. Stade Brest, big fan. Feyenoord, we know all about Rotterdam. That's for sure. Can't say we don't know about Feyenoord. Juventus, go on, will they show Douglas Luiz? Oh, he has to be playing for them to show him. Celtic, where are you? Man City. It's actually, do you know what it is? I know a lot of people are giving out about the lack of jeopardy for teams who are able to finish in this 24 and still go through, the likes of City, Real Madrid, AC Milan, PSG. But like they have to play an extra 2 games, and those teams, I know while they're used to playing 50, 60 games a season, it's still an extra 2 games, and none of them are having a great run of it injury wise this year. So it will it'll be interesting. Be interesting to see how this has an effect on league form. And you have to say, so far it's had an effect on league form for Man City, for AC Milan. Definitely, it's had an effect on for PSG. Yeah, they're going to waltz that league most times. Munich are going to waltz their league, but you know, Juventus, it's had an effect on Juventus as well. Oh, here's Giorgio now to give his say. Giorgio Marchetti, the Deputy General Secretary of UEFA. Make it brief, Giorgio. Make it brief, please. The Monaco delegation are being shown now, as are the Brest delegation. No sign of any Villa boys there yet. I presume Monchi and Vidagani are over there. I presume, but just can't see them. Back to your comments there. Philly D says it'll be United somehow. Yeah, I'm expecting United to come out here somehow as well. It's just PTSD in every single draw. Chris says interested to see who the 3 new additions to the squad would be seen as we probably have signed more than 3 players by the end of the window. Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah, as well. And I think I would say don't overthink it an awful lot, guys. It would be my view on it. I don't expect Andreas Garcia to be named. If we buy a centre half to play right back, I don't think he's going to they're going to name Andreas Garcia. And that isn't a frequent moment for people because it just means that we'd be able to use him in the league if needs be and have players for the Champions League as well. So Malin is definitely going to be in there. Felix or Asensio will definitely be in there, and then whoever the centre half reinforcements are going to be will be in there. So that's going to be the 3. I think like musical chairs then will be the likes of Andres Garcia, Won't be there. I don't know the rules in it as well. If somebody knows the rules better than me, please tell me. Can we deregister a young player? Like, so if Kostin Djakovic is gone, can we be additional players? Or is it just 3 changes we can make to our squad? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are about that. I'm not looking into it at a time. If anyone knows, if anyone can Google it and try and set me straight, that'd be fantastic. Um, mm, mm. Man, another montage. Oh my god. Oh, it's Thiago. They're bringing out Thiago. He's supposed to do some of the draw. He's a fine player, Thiago. Injuries killed him though. Anyway, and the Badger says in fine form today. Yeah, I'm in great form. I'm feeling um I'm feeling great today. It's just my voice is gone. I don't know what it is. Where else are we? Um, Andy says Felix had a lot of failed transfers. We'll talk about that in a while. We'll talk about that in a while. It depends on what you term a failed transfer, but I think he's failed to live up to the money that's been paid for him. But we'll talk about that in a while. I don't disagree with you, but um, my my glass half full is going to come out in full force on that one. Yeah, Colin says draw for the last 16s on February the 21st. But what we know is one of the two teams that will be able to, so they will make a. So we know which side of the draw. Essentially, we'll be looking at what the two pairings will be, should I say here. So we're not going to know exactly what we're going to play. But we'll know what pairings. Uh, uh, uh. So Simon is saying here we can name 4 new players because we sold 5 players from the Champions League squad. Why wouldn't we be able to name 5 players? Because if we can name 4 players, it'd be fantastic. Because then I think we might get 2 attackers. Like we might get another attacker, another midfielder, or something like that. And we'd be able to name those. I just think Andres Garcia would be the odd man out, but interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, Philly D is saying Thiago's suit well tailored anyway. Sure. Thiago asking about who's impressed him, what teams. Go on, you're going to say Villa, aren't you? You're going to say Villa, you. Atlanta, he said. He said Monaco. That's the Villa! He said it! Come on, Thiago. I feel seen, buddy. I feel seen. I feel seen. Dennis, I plan to have a brilliant stag weekend. Catch the bus over from Cork. Catch the bus over from Cork there. I'll meet you inside McCarthy's Bar in Dingle for about 9:30 this evening. So the technical procedure. Let's see. Let's see what this they're gonna explain this. Yeah, so look, I'm not expecting us to know exactly who we're playing, but yeah, so fixtures are determined by a draw conducted in accordance with the following principles. The draw will only feature the clubs from 9 to 24, which you expected. 9 to 16 are seeded. 17 to 24 are not seeded. That means Man City are not seeded. Monaco are not seeded. Bruges. Yeah. So, yeah. So Atlanta or Borussia Dortmund can only play Sporting and Club Bruges. Madrid and Bayern Munich can only play against Celtic and Man City. AC Milan and Eindhoven can only play against Feyenoord and Juventus. And PSG and Benfica can only play against Monaco or Brest. So that's really all we're only sorting out today. Yeah, there's no need to go through this piece. Two predetermined positions based on either Group A or Group B. You can really see how, and no offense to accountants, I love you guys. You make my life an awful lot easier, but there's very much algorithmic um, and I suppose strategic thought gone into this. It's almost overly complicated, but where's it been drawn as, David Williams? I don't know. I presume where they always draw it. I can't remember. I'm blanking on where UEFA always draw these things. It's usually Monaco or something, or it's usually Geneva or somewhere like that. From a bowl, says Richard. From a bowl. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, I'm just going to pop up Twitter. Chelsea are stalling and have not given the green light for Axel Disasi to join Aston Villa, apparently. News breaking on that one. Someone say we have permission to talk to Asensio. I haven't seen that posted, but we will see. Amber Dylan's in. Yeah, what do you guys make of Monchi's comments on Asensio last night? He was very candid and very open about it. About himself and Felix, I think. Candid and open about it. I don't mind it because, like, you'd be a fool to think we're not in for them because of how many times we've tried to sign them. So he was asked the question. He answered the question, and I think I'm okay with it. I don't think it holds us over a barrel or anything like that. I know a couple of people online aren't happy about him talking about players of other teams. I think the context is different here, but we'll see. No, it looks like we'll have a draw. There's no villain contingent there, of course, sure. Why would there be when we're not being drawn out? That's silly me. There was me waiting to see Damian and Unai or Manchi there, but sure, why would they be there when they're not being drawn out? It's mad, guys. If you're watching it on I've been watching on the TNT Sports YouTube page, and the chat is bonkers. It is bonkers. They're already calling it rigged, and I think there might be City fans already calling it rigged. No, yeah, was. And there's a poll now asking who will go furthest in the Champions League this season, and Villa are on it. So I'm selecting Aston Villa. 10% of other people are sound like me. I'm selecting Aston Villa too. So first team out. Club Brugge of Belgium. Oh, it's getting. He just said, "Oh yeah, that might be right." Bruges are playing Sporting Club. So we have Bruges versus Sporting Club. That means Borussia Dortmund will play the other lads, Atlanta. Or am I right? Or am I wrong? Wait a minute, what's just happened? Now they're drawing Man City and What? I'm slightly confused because if they're doing what I think they're doing, they're literally just opening balls to name teams, and the draw isn't actually made yet. So they're talking about silver side and blue side now, as if they couldn't confuse it more. Man City, did Man City draw Celtic? Oh no, Man City are on one side. Oh, sorry guys. So I got it wrong. So Club Brugge and Sporting are on opposite sides. We're on blue sides, yeah, which we probably expected. Lads, this is gonna take another 19 minutes. I don't know, can I stick with it? 'Cause literally all like this could have nearly even been predetermined. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean rigged, but I think like they're just picking what side they're on, the blue side or the silver side. Consider they had a supercomputer to draw the group rounds. They potentially could have just had a supercomputer do this. I don't know. So yeah, so they're completing the first half of the ties here. Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, they're just on the sides here now at the moment, and then they're going to draw from the other four pots and see who's playing who. Bit convoluted. I don't like. If to be honest with you, if I was one of the delegations from City or Celtic that was over there now, I'd feel a small little bit annoyed now that they didn't just press a button and draw this. So they're going to complete the ties now. They've drawn the silver and the blue side for the teams for half the teams, and we're going to know who's going to play against the other guys. So we have yes, this is going to complete the tie here now. So Paris Saint Germain will play Brest, and Paris Saint Germain will be away from home in the first leg. It seems. Monaco will play Benfica. None of those affect us. What? They face either Liverpool or Barcelona. I thought we've. Oh, sorry. Yeah, then the round afterwards we would face Liverpool or Barcelona. Jeez, it is convoluted. So who's the next? So Milan or PSV, we'll find out who they play. PSV are going to play. So Eindhoven versus Juventus is another tie. That'll be a good game. Yeah, the comments in the TNT YouTube page is saying most anticlimactic. Yeah, I'm not sure they needed to do this draw. They could have done this draw with the next draw, to add a bit of razzmatazz to it, but I'm not sure they needed to do a separate one for this. So Feyenoord will play Milan. Oh, that's going to be interesting because Milan are bidding like 40 million for Feyenoord's top striker Santiago Jimenez at the moment. So there could be a bit of needle in that one if it goes through. Andy Badger says, let the octopus decide." Yeah, I'm up for that. This is a pretty pointless draw. They should have added in the next side of it as well. Oh, Real Madrid play versus Man City and Real Madrid are drawn together, guys. Man City versus Real Madrid. There's your marquee. And then Bayern Munich, Bayern München play against Celtic. Celtic and Bayern Munich. The Celtic delegate wants to smile because he knows it's gonna be a big money spinner for him. UEFA didn't UEFA, yeah, it would have been Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or Man City playing together, so it would have been one of 3 big teams, so now Atlanta, fished up. Atlanta will play Bruges. Atlanta will play Bruges. Atlanta will play Bruges, and we may face the victor of that. Yeah, I'm getting a distinct feeling none of the delegates want to be at this. None of them. They're all sour pussies on him. And then Dortmund, as we know, will play Sporting. So Clamour is saying we got Dortmund then, yeah. No, no, because the draw for the blue and the purple side for the next round still has to happen on the 21st of February. So that's why the confusion about this is like, why did they need to do this draw if they weren't going to draw the next round as well? So we can still play either Bruges or Atlanta, or we can still play Sporting or Dortmund. I thought they were going to draw the next round as well. So where the round of 16 was, where we would be on the right hand side of the draw, the left hand side of the draw, but it turns out they're not. So I apologize to anybody who logged into this to see who asked them. I genuinely thought Villa would know who they'd be playing. I know who the permutation was that they would be playing. But to me, this has been a needless draw. Philly, we're playing either the winners of Borussia Dortmund and Sporting or Club Brugge in Atlanta. We're no clearer than we were at 10 o'clock or 10:30 on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, I thought that we would have what side of the draw Villa would be on would be drawing here, but not to be, not to be, and they've just abruptly ended it, and that's it. It's done. It's over. Oh well. Anyway, couple of chats there about transfers. Let's talk a small bit about transfers for maybe about 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. The Asensio Felix one has come up there a good bit. So I've done a podcast on both of them before. Look, Villa need to be smart. My big thing here is Villa need to be really, really smart about what they do with regards to transfers coming up. We don't have an awful lot of time. There's going to be negotiations had. I think we're right to be going down two tracks of inquiry. I genuinely believe that some of the fan base will be underwhelmed by no matter who we sign, because the love for John Duran that was there is so big. The club have sold John Duran because the money was too good, number one, and PSR was the objective. So also, if you read the article that was in the Birmingham Mail by a football financial expert, talks about PSR and so on. Now, it doesn't take into account, from what I could get with it, it took into account Aston Villa, the Swiss Ramble one took into account Aston Villa winning about 40 million in the Champions League. Now it came out that I think it's at 71.9 million or something like that, or 73.9 million won in the Champions League so far. So I don't know where we stand with PSR, but I would imagine that the club would have looked at the sale of John, and this might be what people want to hear, but the club might have looked at the sale of John Duran and went, okay, let's stretch this as far as we can so we can be competitive and also with the guise of, we need to get our wage to squad cost ratio down. It's up at 96%. So, like, if we were to qualify for Europe right now, we would not be allowed playing European competition with our wage. Well, sorry, we would be based on what our revenues would be, but it's dangerous to have a wage cost of 96% of your revenue incomings. So, what am I getting at here? I think unless they can get Felix for the money that they want, they'll get Asensio. Asensio won't cost the whole pile. He's 29 years of age now. But podcast I did in him before, I don't think much has changed on him, and that's when he was being signed as a free transfer. I don't think much has changed. I was pro Asensio from the point of view that Villa don't need wingers. They need people who are able to do the hard work inside in a kind of a 10 role, or maybe even coming. At the time, I thought that Asensio would play on the right, coming inside, maybe being a bit more inverted. I'm now of the opinion that Asensio will only play in that inverted role, behind the striker. And think of it this way as well. If Joe Felix comes in to the club, that's where he's going to play. He's not going to play off the left, I don't think. He's going to play behind Ollie Watkins. And then if Watkins was injured or Watkins was out of the team, it would be either Morgan Rogers or Joe Felix would go up top as well. Or maybe Daniel Malin. So what we would have is massive fluidity there at the back, behind the striker and Ollie Watkins. But Ollie Watkins would be the main man. I don't know how I feel about that. Do I think the club needs to progress and have a second striker? I think this is probably the last year we could get. I know that we've had two strikers, we weren't able to play both of them, but I think this is probably the last year we'd be able to get away with that. Watkins getting up. He's 29 years of age now. Obviously, he's going to be 30 next year. His body is held up really, really well. Will it continue to hold up? I hope so. But I think you're going to need another striker to develop behind him. I firmly believe that if Semi Klitschko is not sold in this transfer window, and you guys will hear me talk about him the whole time, I firmly believe the club want him and they will buy him in the summer. But what I'm getting at here is that I think the club, like the Felix deal, would have to be absolutely spot on for Aston Villa. Have to be spot on for them to sign him. And that's why I think Asensio is now in the conversation. Who do I want more than the other? I think Joe Felix value is, show me a player that's got a more bulletproof value in European football than Joe Felix. Like, no matter when he's gone on the market, there are teams queuing up to pay 50 million for him. And in the PSR world, I know that's not going to last forever. He's probably his trip to Villa will have to be, it will have to be fruitful for him to keep his value that high. But I spoke a moment ago and I said, were they failed transfers at Let Go? Were they failed transfers at Barcelona? Were they failed transfers at Chelsea? I think what happened was he made the wrong choices and I think he played pretty well when he went on any of those journeys. So at Let Go, he played fine, didn't justify 100 million. I've always said that. He's never been a 100 million pound player. And Let Go paid way over the top for him. And that was at Let Go's fault. But he played some good football for Let Go. He just never justified 100 million. Just never justified it. Went to Barcelona, played quite a lot for Barcelona, scored a good few goals for them. And then when he went to Chelsea, he was actually, I thought he was quite good, but Chelsea were an absolute basket case at that time. An absolute basket case. And then he comes back, obviously, to Chelsea this year, and he's only really been, I'd argue Chelsea are still a basket case from their selection and their transfer policy. So I don't know, does he need to be blamed for that? He's made the wrong decisions. I think you can blame him for making the wrong decisions. But at 25 years of age, it's very telling. Like, if I was him, he's probably on a great wage at Chelsea. Don't get me wrong. But he can't believe that Maresco is just going to suddenly out of nowhere favour him when they're being linked with signing, strikers left, right and centre and wingers left, right and centre and young players the whole time. And Estevao is coming in next year. There's no way he can think next year he's going to be a player at Chelsea. And that's what my biggest thing here with him is, that we've twerked for him a couple of times. Is he going to reciprocate now? And we'll know that in the next few days. Is he going to just sit in his hands and happy enough to sit out at Celtic? And if that's the case, then he's made his bed. Let him sleep in it. I'll be disappointed because if Unai wants him that much, and he knows Unai wants him, and he's not reciprocating the want to be at the club, there has to be a time when you got to move on. And that's why I think Asensio is in here too, because I think, look, Asensio is a different kettle of fish. There was a free transfer going. You couldn't have known what Aston Villa were going to be. You were coming from Real Madrid and you're going to PSG. Luis Enrique being manager of PSG. I think if they come in, they offer you money, you're going to go there. Hasn't really worked out for him. Again, PSG have been a bit nonchalant. I don't know do they really know what they're doing? Not what they're doing, but do they know? Since they lost the Messi, Mbappe, Neymar front three, they've been searching kind of blindly, looking for people to replace them. Again, I don't blame him for going there. I would prefer him to go to Aston Villa, but I don't think he's a bad player. I actually think since he did his ACL, and since he used to play in the wing, since he did his ACL and came back, the 2 years he came back from Madrid and was playing more centrally in a 10 role, or kind of in a front three, kind of coming off the right in a 10 role, were his two best ever seasons from goal contributions. And that was why he decided to leave in a free transfer, was because he had put a lot of game time under his belt after coming back from an injury, and had redeveloped his game from being an out-and-out winger to kind of playing more inside as a more technical 10. And that's what excites me most about him. I don't like his age. Look, nothing against 29-year-olds, but it is short. There's a bit of short-termism. But the club needs someone to come in, and we can't be, we need to, like no matter who we sign in this window, potentially will only be here for 2-3 years. So I'm not marrying myself to any new players coming in January being a John McGinn that stays here for the bonds of 10 years, or an Ollie Watkins that stays here for 5, 6, 7 years, or whatever. So January signings are usually either young players that come in and are going to be built through, like we did with Najakovic last year, or we did with Garcia this year. Are there players that come in and help you for the here and now and for the short-termism? So it's going to be interesting to see who we sign of those two players. I would be absolutely devastated if we're here on the last day of the season and we aren't further down the line with a good attacking talent. And if we're waiting until the end of I'm not talking about panic, because we just don't know what's reported and what isn't reported. But if we don't bring in a number 10 / second striker / whatever you want to call him, utility man, attacker, I'll be very disappointed, because we would have left ourselves short. Buendia's gone, Duran is gone. We need to replace the two of them, and we can replace them with one player. I don't ever think Buendia was going to get much of a run through the rest of the season, especially when we're going to name Daniel Mallon in our squad for the Champions League. So it's going to be interesting. I think the club will sign someone, so I don't think we're going to be here talking about us not signing an attacker. But who we sign is going to be important, and there will be a lot of pressure on who we sign because of how loved John Duran was, and how loved Buendia was. There will be a lot of pressure on who we sign, and they're going to need to come in and contribute, not only in the Champions League phase, but also contribute and trying to get us up into the Champions League places again in the league. So it's a big decision. I don't want the club to rush into it. I'm okay with them going down to the wire, but I wouldn't be okay with them if they couldn't get one of them over the line. And I think there's a lot of factors involved here. PSR is definitely one. I think they want to stretch the Duran money, and I think that's the smart move. But I know everybody will have their own different opinions on that. But we do need to get, the balance sheet at the end of the day is one thing, but the squad cost ratio is another thing. Now, hey, we get to the semi-final or the final of the Champions League, we can kiss goodbye to any PSR worries, because the money that would come in would just be absolutely monumental. But if we were to get past even into the quarterfinals, I think there's another big, massive pile of cash that comes through as well. So whatever the revenue that we're generating from this, we don't know yet. We don't know fully yet. We only know what the prize money is. So it's going to be interesting to see what that PSR looks like at the end of the year. But if someone can tell you straight away now that they know what it's going to look like PSR wise at the end of the year for Aston Villa based on what their increased income is and match day and all that, I don't think they can give you the full story on it. But Villa will need to work in that PSR. Even with the Duran sale, they will still need to work in that PSR environment. And I don't want to hear that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys don't want to hear that either. But it's a nuisance that we have to deal with. People talking about Matheus Cunha. I cannot see Matheus Cunha coming to Aston Villa. Just can't see it. I would love it. Can't see it. Guys talking about defense. Are we there now? Sorry, guys. What was that about defense? I don't know. People are shouting defense. Something to do with defense. Who's going to come in defense? I'll be honest with you. Tyrone Mings will be back in a week's time. Pau Torres will be back. Like at the time, it was said Pau Torres was going to be ruled out for what, the ones about 2 months. We're nearly a month down on that one now. We will sign a defender, but obviously to cover for Diego Carlos. And I think that defender is going to be the Sassy. I think there'll be some loan move done at the end. Like I think Villa are playing chicken with that one because they know that Chelsea want him off the books for the same reason that we wanted players that we knew weren't going to get game time off our books. So I think that one's more of a game of chicken, and something will be done there. But I don't know about the one fight thing. Of the two of them, I would, if we're signing them to play centre half, I prefer the Sassy than one fight. But if we signed one fight, I think it would signal a potential back three. And you know how much I love back threes. You know how much I love them. But look, we will get a defensive reinforcement in. We will get a defense, and we'll probably be from one of the two of those guys. There's going to be lots of new names thrown at the wall here. Like yesterday, Matt Stells was thrown at the wall. I know I retweeted, said it's interesting. He would have been a really good replacement for John Duran. I just don't think I just don't know whether we're going to fish in the pool of 60, 70 million euros for him. A lot of money. He's incredible talent. And if Spurs get him, they've done good business. If they get him, I would love him to come to Villa, but I think there's going to be a lot of situations where paper won't refuse ink over the next few days, and there'll be a lot of people linked, and we'll have to look at them all, I suppose, with a critical eye or a skeptical eye until something more concrete comes out. That's my views on those transfers as well. People asking, will Kamara run down his contract? I bloody hope not. I bloody hope not because I absolutely love him. And I would love Cunha too. There's a lot of love for Cunha there as well. There's somebody saying that we offered 55 for Cunha and they want 70. I don't know if we did. But excuse me, I just don't know. Are we in? Well, I suppose that's wrong, you know, because I don't know. Are we in the paying 55 million outright, or whether we're in the loan with option to buy after the end of the season market at the moment? That's all. Like the way the transfers are going to be paid, the structure of payments and transfers. I think one of the biggest reasons Villa accepted the John Duran deal was because it was going to be more or less all paid up front. And, you know, it wasn't going to be installments over the course of years. That makes a difference to your balance sheet at the end of the year too. So I can't imagine Wolves are going to want to do us any favours in saying, oh yeah, we'll loan him to you and you can pay us at the end of the season after you're out of PSR trouble. I just think the Cunha deal would be difficult. Be more difficult than Felix. I think Chelsea would be more open to a payment structure that could help us from a PSR point of view, run it into further years, maybe loan with option to buy job. And I know we can't do that with him and Disassi, but I think they'd be more favourable in working out payment structures if needs be. We've a good relationship with them in a lot of deals we've done. So who knows? Who knows what that would be? But that's another thing. Like sometimes people go, oh, we sat in our hands and we didn't get things done. A lot of negotiations will come down to the timing of transfers, when money needs to be paid, what years it can be pushed into from a PSR point of view. It's a big game of chess and Jenga. Trying to shuffle contracts around, trying to shuffle the value of contracts, the value of transfer payments around, the amortization of them. It's not as simple as 77 million in, we can spend 77 million now. I'd love to know a bit more about it. I absolutely don't. But everybody I speak to about PSR, that's the first thing they say to me is, it all depends on payment structures within contracts. So that's another thing. When somebody turns around and says to you, I know we're 100% guaranteed to be X amount over PSR, they can't know that for certain because of payment structures and because of revenue streams and so on that haven't been reported yet. So I want people to speculate on it, because I think you'll get into a ballpark of going, yeah, I think Villa will be fine, and that's okay. But if someone can tell you the exact number that they're over on PSR, I'd love to know how they can calculate that. And they may be able to do that, but I just can't see a way. My little brain can't comprehend how they would be able to forecast those the financials there when we're still in a competition, and we're also the shirt sales and stuff like that haven't been reported, and that's going to be huge money. Right, I'm going to leave you guys. I got to run. There's a load of things I got to do before I have to strike off to go on my stag party. Thanks a million for all the good wishes as well. I hope I survive my stag. That'd be great. Because I've already got about 20 phone calls this morning from people going, and they're way more excited about it than I am. Put it that way. So that never bodes well for the stag if everybody else is giddy, is way giddier than the stag going on his party. So I'm wondering, and I'm not in the group that they're all in, so I wonder what they've plotted and planned for me. So I will share some pictures anyway at some stage, whatever they dress me up in. But thanks a million, everybody, for watching and for listening. Sorry I couldn't give you the team that we were going to play. I genuinely thought they were going to do the second draw as well for the rest of the teams. I should have known, because they said it would be the 21st of February. We'll go live on the 21st of February as well for that too. And look, we're just going to enjoy every bit of this journey as far as we go. But it's concentration on transfers and the league time at the moment. Wolves at the weekend, and let's get a result there. And I'll be speaking to you after the Wolves game. Well, a couple of days after the Wolves game. But enjoy yourselves, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. All that's left to say is up the